Are we on the internet? We are on the internet. Good evening. Welcome to Talks Machina. I am your host, Brian Wayne Foster. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we'll be discussing episode 82 of Critical Role, Deadly Echoes. We'll also be giving out our fan art and Gift of the Week prizes and answering your questions with our guests, Matthew Mercer, Taliesin Jaffe, Marisha Ray, special guest Travis Willingham.
Fast on me!
All that and more tonight on Talks Machina. Hit it, Denise.
Now Paul is a real estate novelist who never had time for a wife who does. And he's talking with Davey, who's still in the Navy, and probably will be for life. And the waitress is practicing politics.
Good evening.
So good.
Our thanks to the Critical Role subreddit for finding that video and making
thank you
sure.
guys so much.
Subtext.
How long ago was that?
That's 10 years, I think, almost.
Wow.
Sounds about right.
That's absurd. Nothing leaves the internet
No.
ever.
No.
Oh my god. I wasn't that drunk, by the way. I was drunk, but I wasn't that drunk.
Yeah.
No, that's just
you
you
can
in
tell.
a good mood.
It didn't
Yeah.
take a lot back then, if I recall.
Doesn't take a lot now.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
I
cheap
love
date.
I'd love to take a turn singing. Where are my glasses?
That was back.
Gotta
when
see those
Matt was
lyrics.
Yeah, it's got like glasses,
Glasses,
man.
Matt.
That
was
was
a thing.
pre-LASIK, yeah.
That was awesome. Let's begin. How is everyone?
Free the future.
Wondrous.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Wondrous.
Amazing.
Enlightened now.
Yeah.
Enlightened? Yeah.
I'm feeling lifted, dog.
Yeah.
Feeling nostalgic. Feeling like it's 2008 again.
You guys feeling like doing karaoke after this?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can
I
you go to
don't
like
wanna
the Korean karaoke booths? Those are the best.
I think that's
Great,
what.
actually.
Is that where that was?
That one of those was, right?
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was someone
so
on
good.
Hotel, right?
They
Yeah,
bring
that
out all
was
the beer.
Peppermint, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they always play videos that have nothing to do with what you're singing
Yeah,
about.
running
you know,
through
like
a
from,
field with like butterflies.
Yeah,
taking
yeah,
flight.
like
Wondering
Planet
where
Earth.
this mystery letter came from.
Maybe they're
Look
singing
like,
Black Hole Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is this March of the Penguins?
While you're singing, it's hard to focus on the words when there's like a Cialis commercial happening on the screen. You're like, wait a minute, why is that guy in a bathtub on the beach? Taliesin,
Yeah.
you had a birthday last
I
week.
did.
You did?
I did.
Oh
Well
my
done.
gosh.
Well
Happy
done.
birthday.
You're so old.
I'm
Sigh
so
of
old.
applause.
Older than Star Wars. It's great.
We got a question sent in. That's true.
Yeah.
We got a question sent in from Thomas Bergstrom for Taliesin. How was Taliesin's 40th birthday celebration, and was he glad that Sam wasn't on the show to serenade him?
Well, I I will say my birthday was mostly spent here. I was at Geek and Sundry all day, working to make the internet's a brighter, more beautiful place.
And did you make any progress?
Some we're making slow progress. We're on the air right now, aren't we? Something worked.
What can you report from the front lines, man? Tell us.
Rations are thin. We're down to our last 5 wafers and gin and tonic rations.
We have resorted to eating the horses.
Hamilton reference number 1.
Number 1, everybody at home drink. Yeah, no, I haven't actually partied hard yet. I've just been. There's been too much to do. The new year, we got busy. This new year's been
we
busy.
did get
so.
busy.
Very busy.
We got a lot of good
Yeah.
irons in the fire. What
yeah.
does that mean? Is that a welding term?
Blacksmithing.
Welding?
Blacksmithing?
When you weld,
Welding?
like,
This might be why
Yeah.
it never works for you, man.
Now listen. There's still enough cold medicine in my body
Okay.
to where a DEA drug dog would have a field day with you.
Is it true you graduated from mime school? Because that was, I mean,
Is that welding?
that's the welding mime. That's the international welding mime.
Such a brain short.
So like the safeties administration
There's gonna be
also
a
have
lot
a
of
field
sass
day.
to send to the couch today. I'm
I
so
hope
sorry.
so. Bring the sass because. Oh, we have an announcement.
Oh, good.
Oh.
We have an announcement. The great folks over at Alpha wanted me to let you guys know, if you haven't signed up for Alpha yet, you can use the promo code TALKS, first word of 2 in the name of this show, to get an additional 30-day trial. Now, that's on top of the 30-day free trial they already offer you, bringing a grand total of trial days
90 days.
to 60.
Oh,
Travis,
Sorry.
let us
Smart
handle
one.
the math. If you've been missing out on our extended Q&A with the Alpha Chat after the show is over, which the fans have, I think, unofficially called it, they're calling it Talks Machina After Dark, the overrun segment. So that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
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 We do all.
I love it.
clothing, that's fair.
If you've been missing out on our extended Q&A with the Alpha Chat after the show is over, here's a chance for you to get something like 8 episodes of our show gratis. Now that means free in Latin.
Yeah.
Use promo code TALKS when signing up at projectalpha.com. Thank you to the folks at Alpha for offering 30 more days to check out.
Is there a new Alpha show called Gratis, or was that just okay? No, you were okay.
There's going
never
to
mind.
be.
That would be
There
a
is.
Right now.
There is
yeah,
now.
Gratis.
Thanks, Taliesin.
Project Alpha on Project Alpha.
It's
Weird on
just
Twitch.
Project Alpha
thanking the
on
subscribers.
Project.
That's all it is.
That is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the new show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, episode 82
Yes.
was incredible. It was a clusterfuck.
Yep.
Yep.
It was way too much math.
That's my fault.
It's okay though. I'm surprised at how fast you guys are able to do math without any calculators.
Are you not using a calculator on your desk? Because mine is in.
You've gotta be.
It's burning
No,
through my iPhone battery.
I have the app for when I
Oh,
really
thank
need
God.
it. Because no, there's no way I wasn't able to do that quickly.
Yeah.
It's bad enough at home.
Yeah.
I
Right?
tend to, my method is having Sam shout random numbers in my
Yeah.
ear while I try and figure it out the old school way.
That tends to work.
That's my calculator.
I kind of.
done that
I
last
almost
game.
bought an abacus a couple days ago. I thought it might help.
It might have.
It
to.
might have.
You don't know how to work an abacus.
I don't, but I can use it for hit points, and then I can slow everybody down also, which I'm really. The notion of causing that much inconvenience really excites me. So
I'm one of these people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't read by moving my lips though. My teacher in 8th grade told me that was a sign of low intelligence, and I was
Sure.
like, what?
Eating the glue, also a sign of low intelligence.
Sniffing glue is?
Eating it.
Eating it?
Not everybody did that?
We were all
I did
public
it.
No,
school
I
kids,
never-
right? Public school?
Elmer's,
Public
yeah.
school?
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
but
Public school where it's
Well,
at.
Your childhood was weird.
my childhood doesn't count. Yeah,
Your
I was raised
childhood-
by
We're not
immigrants.
asking you.
You were barely a child.
I'm getting into it now.
Yeah.
40 is the new 7.
Sniff all the glue in the world. It won't tell you why Dad never came back from getting cigarettes. We have some crit roll stats from this week's episode.
got dark.
How great was Andrew from Crit Roll Stats on the show last week? That was amazing. And he was here Thursday night for the show to see it live for the first time, which is great. Okay, episode 82 was the 6th longest episode yet,
Wow.
Wow.
clocking in at 4 hours, 37 minutes, 11 seconds. The longest episode to date was 44 at 4 hours, 55 minutes, 27 seconds. We're about 20 minutes shy. This is not something you should try to beat, by the way. The
No,
record is not.
I don't mean to.
Yeah. Episode 82 had 13 natural 20s in it. One by you, the DM, 8 natural ones, and it was tied in 4th place for the most nat 20s in one game.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And then one of the other things we checked about was how many times someone has successfully counterspelled a spell before it was able to go off.
Oh, fuck.
Including this episode brings us to 16 successful counterspells, 2 successful dispel magics before the spells Matt had in mind went off.
Yep.
That's pretty dope.
Damn.
This episode was kind of packed full of a lot of weird shit.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a good episode,
It was-
though.
it was
I
a nice
had so
one.
much fun.
It was a nice return to the classic dungeon crawl mystique. For as much as the Conclave arc has been going on, and it's been a lot of like set piece battle versus like planar travel and gathering allies. at this level, you begin to diverge from the classic dungeon crawl element that early levels of D&D tend to, be about. So it was kind of a fun way to bring us back to that heart and see you guys, flounder again when the challenge is unknown to
It
you.
was, it was so Goonies, man. I loved it. Or
was Goonies.
Galaxy Questy. It was great.
That was the apex of our very first game we ever played together. Was that stupid fountain that you
I
figured out
I
in
was so
2
proud of that
seconds,
fountain.
but it almost killed me.
I let the clock run out on that one. 'cause you
I
guys had to
appreciate
learn.
that. You were playing the wire. I
Yeah,
dug it.
well.
Hero at the last minute. Got my vote.
Travis, speaking of you,
Shit.
let's talk about the deck. Since you weren't here last week,
Your deck of questions?
Yeah, the deck of questions. You wish. No, let's talk about the deck of many things.
Yes.
Now, before we do that, I don't ever want to be accused of misreading a situation, but you seemed quite frustrated during Thursday's episode. I think we
Me?
actually have some screenshots, Denise, of some of Travis throughout the course of the episode as things began to progress. We have the contemplative.
I'm eating a Cheez-It. That's a Cheez-It
Eating a
right there.
Cheez-It.
Sculpted right there.
Okay, and then later on, it seemed like you transitioned over into
That's just a foul. Yeah, that's.
maybe a little sleepy time.
What you can't see is the thumb actively trying to get the wax out of my ear.
Okay, yeah. And then finally, I think just pure confusion.
That's kind of the smell the fart acting face.
Yeah.
I don't know who at my table was guilty, but
smell the fart or lost the will to live.
yeah, one or the other.
Travis, a lot of people asked about this. Andreas Rojas says, are Laura and Travis okay after what transpired between Vex and Grog?
I mean, you'll notice she hasn't tweeted since the game, and I'm just hoping the authorities. Yeah, we're totally fine.
She's crashing in my place. It's been great.
Yeah, absolutely. She is fully within her right to do whatever she wants to do. I really wanted that deck, and I am in no mood to hide that sometimes. I just really wanted it really bad.
You also really wanted to fuck with her though too, because we know you.
Yeah.
You love fucking with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, just
in life.
having the deck is part of
Yeah.
the fun. But I'm just saying, Grog has honor in some of the strangest places, and really made a promise to Vex, and he thought that she held up her end of the bargain. So if he ever finds out that deck is not there, I just don't know.
Nobody slept on the couch. Nobody.
No.
One of the questions
I
someone
went and got
sent
Taco
in.
Bell for us.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah, it's about the only thing that's open by the time
That's
a
it,
4-hour and 37-minute episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
And
much.
thank you for running out the clock on my birthday, by the way. Thank you for that, because that's really.
Yeah.
welcome.
No, thank you.
Oddly, we were
welcome.
left with no time to celebrate it after the show. We had to move on to the next day.
No, I got
no,
to
your
go
birthday's
home old.
over.
I got to go home old. It was great.
Yeah.
Just somehow older than when I. No,
Happy
I'm
birthday.
just thank you. No, I had a great time. Asshole.
It's a good way to spend your birthday.
Yeah, it was perfect.
It's good.
Yeah, that was fun.
Absolutely perfect.
Nobody died.
That could have been better.
We all dropped acid. Travis,
You what?
light trick on Reddit, follow up to that.
Light trick.
Despite Grog's low intelligence, he often seems well versed in thinking about warfare. Do you think Grog would consider something like the cards as a potential weapon rather than a curiosity if he ever realizes what they do beyond making headache-inducing swords?
Boy, that's a great question.
I disagree with like you are not a tactician. You have moments of genius, but you are not a tactician. You are.
We're talking about Grog.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about Grog, not Travis. Travis.
I think Grog has. Well, I think Grog has some moments maybe that he's derived from all of the fights and just general brawling lifestyle that the herd had.
You haven't studied warfare,
No.
but instinctually you know through your experience with the herd.
He's picked up things.
Yeah, and reflected by the wisdom you have, you're slightly higher than normal wisdom that you have an insight or kind of an instinct for
Right.
that type of circumstance. So
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Grog turned to the deck of cards in a moment of great peril, boredom, curiosity. All of those things kind of fall in the same category, which is part of the pain of Grog and the joy. But yeah, I think there's part of him that sees that as maybe a nice button to push and if things get too hairy.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Interesting.
We'll see. I can't really speak for it. It just depends on the
If he needs
moment.
to wipe or something.
Yeah.
There's nothing else around.
It's an expensive button to push in my mind as a player, and I think in his mind it's not something he would rely on very often, but it's certainly not out of the arsenal.
Yeah, I get that. Matt,
yes,
Capuchu,
Capuchu.
to Matt Mercer, what card would you really want to see drawn from the deck of many things?
Oh, look, even just me including it, I was already like, oh man,
Yeah.
sure, you know what, why not? So I don't think there's a card I want to see. I'm curious to see either there's one card where it destroys all material wealth outside of magical items. I haven't decided exactly how far-reaching that what is considered
That's
material wealth.
the thing that would make me want to draw the card is to see what would happen to Percy if he just suddenly lost everything. Would be amazing.
It would be terrifying.
Be amazing.
No, that would be
Wait.
horrible.
We wouldn't lose like all of our Vox Machina treasure, would we?
way to find out.
Like that's the thing is like, would he wake up and like find out that there had never been a Percival, where he was just like a captain of the guard and was just under the employ, and was just a fucking manservant to his sister who doesn't remember
or
him.
if, like,
What
what
layer?
There would be multiple ways of implementing
There's so
that type
many
of
different
a card, so I'd be curious to try and do that. Other than that, I'd say probably the one that causes an NPC of my choice to turn against you.
Yeah.
That one could be real interesting.
That I love.
Yeah.
If that happens, say Travis had pulled that card,
Yeah.
which NPC would you have turned against him?
You have no idea.
There you go.
Because if that ever
Because
the
happens,
deck is still kind of in play.
The deck is in play,
absolutely in play.
I have a few ideas of who it could be, and
Would you
any of them would
make
be
it
interesting.
make like storyline sense, or just random something snaps, or kind of that like Oracle in the Matrix? I don't know. Did you break the vase because I mentioned it? Like, would you find a reason for, say, Cassandra DeRollo to maybe disown Percy, or would she just wake up one day and be like, you know what? Fuck Percy.
We'll find out.
It's magic.
I wake up every
I
We'll
morning.
find out. No, I mean, it can go any of those ways. I mean, it's not like it changes the sequence of events. It isn't like suddenly now you've murdered their best friend and they never existed, you know?
Doesn't
just
start Connor things.
Yeah, it doesn't alter the entire timeline of every other creature that's been around you. That one creature, whoever it may have been, for a reason that is undisclosed at the time, has decided that they despise you, and that would come up for a reason, whether it's an illusion that they now believe themselves. We figure it out, but yeah, that'll be fun.
Is there a Joker in your deck, or is there not a Joker in your deck?
Hey.
Oh my god.
Footsies.
Sorry. Travis, one last
Joker.
question
Okay,
about the
there it
deck. I'm interested to see where you go with this, but I'm not gonna keep digging because it's still in play.
Okay.
Travis, if you could go back, Dizek on Reddit asked, if you could go back and not draw a card from the deck, would you?
Never.
Okay.
Never.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
And
I love that.
and the reason is, and correct me if I'm wrong, the only person in our entire party that even heard hearsay anything about the deck was Percy.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know that there's anything wrong with it, nor does anyone else. It's just something that he's heard. Right?
I just kind of gave the group a, please put that away, is as far as I went. It was a,
So
let's
I think,
just put that
I think
away.
that is overwhelmingly evidence for like, this isn't necessarily anything bad. You just heard that maybe it does something terrible.
Okay.
And all I know is I drew a sword and a sword came out, which is
Grog
awesome.
doesn't believe a word Percy says. He's smart enough to know he's
He
full of
usually
shit.
doesn't understand most of the words.
yeah, right.
They are big words.
Yeah. Like,
Indubitably.
like
But
big.
no, there's a few of us who don't know because like Keyleth and Pike and Vax were in the hall.
Yeah, most of
A
the
lot of us
party,
were in the hall.
for the most, half the party isn't aware of its existence.
I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
There you go.
Just like everything shameful that Travis does, most
Yeah.
of the time people aren't in the room to see it, unfortunately.
As far as Keyleth is concerned, you found a cursed weapon, and then when you tried to attune to it, it messed with you.
There you go.
This was already touched on, but Adam S. asked how did it feel to undergo a classic dungeon crawl experience again. Awesome. We already kind of touched on that. Marisha. It's me, Brian. You you had a pretty badass and terrifying moment this week when trying to solve a puzzle. Denise,
I don't know if I was trying to solve it.
let's take a look.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Are we gonna light this brazier?
Yes.
Keyleth goes up and just sticks her flaming hand right down into the middle of the brazier.
Okay. Your hand hits the top of the kindling, at which point the wood catches, and there's a slight flash as the extremely explosive materials that were within the brazier detonate, causing Percival, Allura, Vex and Vax, who are also reading the book nearby, to all have to make a dexterity saving throw. As there's sudden, it explodes with the force.
Do I make a dexterity save as well?
You don't make it. You just take the damage since you were at ground zero.
Yeah, that's fair.
God damn it.
That was a beautiful moment.
Okay.
Damn it, One-Eye Willie.
Okay, here's the question.
Okay.
Here's the question. Aki says, Marisha, no joke, that explosion was great. What made Kiki think it was safe to light the brazier?
Grog going, yes.
If you hadn't, I would.
Are we lighting this brazier? He went, dear God,
Yeah.
please. And I went, okay.
Yeah.
Was that your need for something to happen, or you were also curious as to...
Unequivocally, 100% just wanted something to happen.
Did you see how bored he was that whole clip? And then as time went on, that shit-eating grin that slowly came across his face? So as things
Good luck.
Felix,
Play
I'm
some
sure erupted in the chat room.
Yeah, right?
You know, I'm a firm believer that every now and then when we get a comment or a response, someone's like, man, Vox Machina is so brash. They're not careful at all. I'm like, and because of it, it's fun and
It's
awesome.
really fun.
I'm a firm believer in taking risks in D&D and role-playing games. Like, you can be careful to a certain extent, but you reach a certain point where you gotta just do crazy shit because it leads to fun moments like that
Yeah,
where you
honestly,
explode.
we tried to figure it out, and I think we were all thinking that the light would open the door, and didn't really have any reason to believe otherwise. So
Yeah, I didn't.
it's time to move things along.
And I tried not to fuck with it because it was obviously like puzzle time. You know, I have an intelligence 6, so I didn't like smash the skull when he got in. I didn't reach for the crazy spell book made of skin on the wall or whatever and mess with the thing. I'm like, this is the smart people's realm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand back here, but he's got a little
And yet
like
everything
hourglass
explodes.
that starts going.
yeah,
and I'm
before
like,
you get bored.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you pop the hourglass? Or did you?
I
not?
had the hourglass
Ready.
for a puzzle that you guys bypassed.
What? We
Yes.
bypassed an hourglass puzzle?
You did.
Was that the box? I'm not.
No.
I don't
Was
want to
that
know.
the stairs?
It was the stairs.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's one of the circumstances where the puzzle, as whoever walked down the staircase, every 5 feet, I was going to roll a d10, and I had everyone designated to a certain number, and whoever it was who was on the staircase, the wall was going to shove them into the center of the cylinder and force them to drop down towards the spikes. And as soon as that happened, that's when the timer goes on, and until if the timer hits and not everyone's down, everyone's being too careful and trying to avoid it, then all the walls were going to shove
And we
everyone
just
out
flew
and shove them
down.
into the center. And you guys flew down.
Yeah, so
But
once
there-
again, that kind of caution versus utter
Non-linear
disregard.
thinking.
We were very cautious with the stairs because we got there and we all went, nope.
And it's for the best. That would have been really bad.
Yes, it would have.
But then kind of threw caution to the wind when it came to lighting
Well,
a brazier.
and
It
at what place to
balances
spell
out.
magic? Because if
Yeah,
that,
which
because you
would
guys have
that.
already encountered one of those dispelling glyphs before with the carpet last time, and as soon as it began to shimmy, you were like, you as
I
Caitlin were
was like,
"No!"
I think I recognize this. I remember using this spell sometime in like 1998. Oh God, yeah. And
Nice.
It worked out well.
Worked out
Good
okay.
roll.
Matt,
Oh.
Yes.
how tempting was it, Tom Barber asked, to have the group have to refight the flame skulls after they rested? Wouldn't that have been amazing?
Oh.
How tempting. Did you think about it, or it didn't cross your mind?
Oh, well, no. I mean, they're not done in there yet.
His rests are slightly shorter than normal rests. That's
Yeah.
You run a shorter rest.
I run a shorter rest just for the nature of our game and the kind of the rush and go elements of it. So, I don't know.
We'll
see how it goes.
It's creepy. There's some creepy
Yeah.
shit going on in that
It's
chair
great.
right
It's
now.
been
I'm
fun.
not
It's been
happy
fun.
about.
Perpetually.
Travis, Blair Gamble wants to know: would you consider a couple levels of monk for Grog so he could destroy fools hand to hand? I love that it says
Blair,
destroy.
what the hell is monk for grod?
Monk. My
class.
voice is a little jacked because I've been sick. Monk.
I know, I'm
foie gras.
trolling you.
Monk
It's a Mumford and Sons cover
Monk
band.
foie gras.
Hey, wasn't
No, it's
Earthbreaker Grun? Wasn't he? He's
a monk.
He was a monk. I maybe just because he was so impressed by all the badass hand-to-hand stuff. But monks normally don't have weapons, right? It's like martial skills.
Yeah, it's hand to hand.
I think that's-
Generally, there are some monk weapons, depending. But
Yeah, I think for me, Grog loves his weapons. Like he takes pride in his little weapon hoard he's got going on now.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
think he
yeah.
wants to keep that. Plus, I'm interested in like disarming eventually and stuff like that, and just some of the stuff that Kevdak did.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
We're going to keep going through this because we have a lot to get through. But let's give away some free shit.
Free shit giveaway!
Each week, you critters capture moments from the show, make awesome, hilarious gifts. We like to feature some of them for our gift of the week.
Give it away!
This week's winner was sent in by Gary Tattersall, aka Harry Tattersall, on Twitter, and it features you, Travis.
Harry
Let's take a look at Gary's gift of the week.
It's a gift of your.
Oh,
Harry
Jesus.
Oh my God! This is amazing.
Yep.
I am
Wow.
I am chewing the shit out of that gum.
That is fantastic.
That gum is paying for a lot of things right now.
I'm going, I love my wife. I love my wife. I love my wife. Oh, I love my wife. Okay. I love my wife.
That is amazing.
That's good.
Well earned.
Thank you for sending that in, Gary. For that, you will be winning this Critical Role mug designed by our friend Matt Abernathy. And you're going to get a couple of pins. You got a Critical Role pin in there. These are very cool. You got a how do you want to do this?
Amazing.
Thank you to everyone for submitting this week, and thank you, Gary. Let's move on.
Yes, Brian. Let us move on.
Oh, Taliesin, Marisha. Let's talk a little bit about Jaegering Scanlan. I know Laura and Liam have talked about what it's like to Jaeger for Pike. The Garbage Boy wants to know, which do you think is better, DM control or Jaeger piloting of a character whose player is absent?
Jaeger piloting.
Oh, if only because Matt has so many things going on, and we don't want to destroy his brain.
I don't mind it so much if it's just like a player missing and it's the usual party makeup, but these recent adventures in which we've been missing somebody have been large-scale battles where you brought along a number of allies with you, in which case it's just so much for me to concentrate on. It's like, if one of you guys can handle this, I think that'll work better for my own sanity. And plus, the more NPCs I control, the more it's me plotting against myself from both sides, which can be kind of weird in its own right.
It's less for you to do, and it's more chaos on our end, which is better for you
great.
in the next point.
I like that, yeah.
Playing chess against yourself is weird.
It's not enjoyable though. I don't envy when Laura and Liam have to do it for Pike because
it was stressful.
It's a lot to keep track of, right?
Yeah, and you don't want the responsibility if you make a poor choice for them. If they're like we're terrified Sam or Ashley is going to be watching at home and being like, I wouldn't do that.
Well, Ashley, she sends those strongly worded emails after every game.
Oh yeah, you can feel the vibes.
Just
through
all
Skype.
emojis, yeah.
This is interesting. Annie wants to know, what did Sam tell you guys before the game to guide you for playing Scanlan?
I don't want to say too much, but he gave me some general I will say he gave me a series of general texts that were very much the like.
This is where he is in his headspace.
This is where I am in my headspace. If this happens, if we go into combat, act this way. If this happens in combat, then I want you to do these things. But if it goes another way, I want you to do these things. Like he sort of just created a couple tree branches, if that makes sense, of like, just push them in these directions. And it was very simple, very, very basic. But again, I don't want to spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah,
No, don't.
Too much.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
I know too much even. I want to race my brain. I never want to look at it again. It hurts.
Yeah,
Goldschlager is for that.
that's what the Goldschlager's for. That's why we have it in your mug.
It's called modify memory.
To forget.
Yeah, modify memory.
That's tequila, actually.
Modify memory is a really PC way to say I drink to forget.
Yeah. It's a great brand name for tequila for me.
Modify memory.
We should go into business.
Wow.
Just saying, guys.
We should go into business. Let's have a meeting after this. over some modify memory.
That we can.
We've already got Fireball.
Scanlan, modify memory.
That's true.
Just do-
Fireball.
We should do a bunch of different spells as alcohol. It'd be great.
Let's talk about the chasm and the bridge from this episode. That's not the name of a book that Travis did not have to read in high school.
Chasm and the bridge.
Matt, many people want to know how you came up with the puzzles and the traps. For instance, Eddie Freeman asks, Matt, what inspired the nightmare, the Bridge of 82? That haunts us since, wow. That's the full question.
Okay, I see the question now. I was trying to think of what would be a fun visual type trap for what is essentially a long abandoned, necromancer's sanctum. And so I'd written the space where there was a bunch of indigenous people that went missing. Where would all those bodies go? Would they just be scattered or buried somewhere? And I was thinking about having a chasm trap that would test what their expectations are of crossing a chasm. We just leap across or fly across or find a way to get across the bridge. Reverse gravity would make that really weird and interesting. And then what if the chasm was filled with a bunch of these undead that would pull them down? But with the reverse gravity involved, would that mean that they would be on the ceiling instead? How about both? And then I thought of all these undead that were essentially clustered in a giant net, like they're all holding each other together on the bottom, and the reverse gravity effect partially pushes into that layer. And so while they're holding themselves down in this chasm, as soon as something living began to cross, whoever was on the surface would begin to let go to try and go up and catch them on the way. And so the longer that happened, the more kind of hunger that was built into this cluster of the chasm, the more that would release themselves. And there was some sort of a dark presence in the place that began to maneuver them into these structures of like a giant arm or a different head. And
Exactly.
I was trying to figure out
Wow.
what was triggering them. That's crazy.
yeah, it was just the presence of something living across the chasm was what began to awaken them from this kind of, woven slumber in which they were at the bottom and the top of this chasm. And so when you guys disabled it at the fountain, all the ones at the top just crashed down to the bottom, and like a number of them probably broke apart and stuff, but the nature of the necromantic enchantment there just slowly wove them back together and basically reset the puzzle, so whenever the water returns to what it was, it'll cause a whole chunk to fly back up into the ceiling and basically be back to where it was when you arrived, so.
You know how professional athletes or models or people of import will insure whatever part of their body makes them the most money? Like hands, if you're.
Oh, right.
Should we be insuring Matt's brain? Should we get a policy out? Because if you hear what he just said and he just came up with that, like.
Yeah, do we just make him wear a helmet everywhere he
Do we
goes?
protect? How do we protect what's in there?
Hey, Cowboys helmet.
I do have a Dallas Cowboys helmet, I'm just saying. And it has a face mask, so we'll keep you pretty, too.
Yeah, like how hand models will wear gloves everywhere they go.
Exactly.
You guys think it'll change today? Most of these thoughts come from brain damage, so it's
Oh,
fine.
that's true. That's true.
It's too late for me.
Yeah, good.
Marisha, Michael Dibden says, clutch as fuck grasping vine, Marisha. Do moments like that help alleviate Keyleth's self-doubt?
Probably not. No. She's not thinking of them in terms of like a point system.
Of course.
She's not like, I did my good deed for the day.
She's not like Travis.
Yeah.
Simple systems are the best.
What kind of weird, maladjusted human pays attention to what they do right? It's really only your mistakes that really should matter to you.
Yeah,
really.
kind of like how you only remember when you're in the slow lane. Kind of like that. You only remember if you do something bad, and I think that weighs on her heavier, like way heavier. And so much of her actions are just based on impulse of trying to do the right thing. So,
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know. That makes sense.
Yeah, of course. I think impulse happens, and then your character, you
but-
respond the way they would respond.
Yeah, but no one thinks later. Like, if you help someone cross the street, I'm sure you don't think later, like, man, that was awesome of me.
All day, I think that.
Every time I do something nice.
Especially if you like lasso
Every
them and
single
then like
time.
pulled really hard. And, like,
stop-
the
I'll
other
stop
side.
people
on the street and be like, did you see that old lady?
Did you see that old lady?
Right here,
Yeah.
number
I did
one.
that.
Number one Boy Scout.
Did that. Yeah.
Matt, logistically, Chris wants to know, could VM have walked on the bottom of the bridge in the reverse gravity area?
Logistically, yeah.
But then when
Think
the
you start
gravity
smart
reversed,
enough?
we would fall.
Well, if the trap were to then reverse, or somebody figured out that fountain across the way, somebody could have discovered that and then done what you did to it earlier, and it would have fixed this scenario. But everyone was so focused on the chasm, nobody noticed. But yeah, if you were to go ahead and step underneath the bridge somehow and then walk across, that would have been a way to do it, definitely.
You know who would have thought of that? Grog.
It's a shame he wasn't there.
It's a
It
shame.
is. He was
Wow.
left on the other side holding a
He
rope.
was holding a rope.
I can't believe we didn't think about that until just now.
No, we really didn't.
That's what this show's for.
To be fair, everything spiraled pretty quickly when Laura rolled that one. Like everyone kind of had like a calm, collected moment, of like, okay, we'll do this, we'll get across, get this across. And the minute that she and Pike spiraled out with that first hit from that zombie, that was when everything
respect
got
the one.
crazy, which is
Gotta
part of
respect
the
the
reason
one.
why I love D&D. Sometimes it takes, even a group as powerful as you guys, it takes just one bad roll to send this kind of series of events that can, add challenge to the moment. It's a lot of fun.
It was just a series of things, came together and we saved everybody.
Yeah, there was
no
trauma
one
from
died.
these two because you guys were like, I've had previous groups die from these things.
He's done
yeah.
things in dungeons filled with dead people now.
I was kind of sad nobody actually touched the top or bottom of the chasm, because it was one of those things where, like, if you were hit it, then you are restrained by all the undead there, and for each round that you stayed restrained, the DC to break away was going to get higher because more hands would begin to grab and pull you in, and the more longer you stayed, you took successive damage that got higher, more necrotic damage each round as you got
Right.
basically pulled in and drained by the undead
That's
force there.
and that's similar to that same trap that we did where I made the disco floor, but it was just if you stood on the ground.
The bone field?
Yeah, if you stood on the ground.
It was
for
a
more-
similar type of
too long,
enchantment
then
there, you pulled under.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's cool, man.
We could just go do a Greg Louganis off the edge of it. We don't have to go to Ryshaw. Just be like, hold on, we'll be right back. Keep reading your book. We'll be right back.
Perfect.
Celebrity splash time.
Sail!
You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You bumped into the ceiling when I was
You get
washed.
nothing, sir.
Good days.
Day, sir. Taliesin,
Yes, I do. I'm very proud of my Gene Wilder. Yes, you did good. Thank you.
did you see my shirt last week? No, you don't watch the show.
No, God,
Let's
no.
talk about the fountain. Doc Riggs. Doc Riggs on Reddit says, Taliesin,
Yeah.
how much of Percy's fixation with the inverted water flow was you playing the character?
That was very much the character, which was him looking at anytime he sees a puzzle. He's really one of those people who sees a puzzle and was like, somebody clever built this, not as clever as me,
Right.
and immediately is just fascinated by I have to prove that I'm much cleverer than whoever built this thing, and I can do that. I wonder what that does. I probably shouldn't. And he was just
love it.
lost.
Someone else asked how exactly you came up with your theories, considering what Matt can come up with. Because you kept saying like, "Ooh, I have a theory."
I run about 40-60 with your like every now and then you come up with something and I get it like 5 minutes before everybody else, and then every now and then I get up to something and he specifically built it to end me.
Well, this is actually an interesting point. Anyone who's ever been a game master or dungeon master, it's an interesting place to be because you're essentially a person of varying intelligence trying to outsmart a group of 5, 6, 7 people, all working against whatever your constructs and machinations are, and enough to make it interesting for people. So yeah, there will always be moments where they'll catch your wavelength, they'll get it faster than you think, they'll bypass your expectations. You're like, okay, well, I lost that versus combat, but it's part of the stress and the fun of it.
Is it appropriate to talk about that first cavern from the previous game that we were in years and years ago?
Which one was this? The
When we were underground in that weird cavern, we found the crystal, and it was. I don't want to say it in case you're going to use, and you're not going to use this thing again.
Probably not.
No.
You just described like every D&D campaign
gonna
ever.
say, like,
The chasm with the crystal.
We're
over
on the
it.
details. You're overwhelming
in a
Matt.
previous game that we were running with ages ago in the game previous to this, we were underground in a cavern exploring it, and at one point I had an epiphany, and thank God this is why.
yes.
Yeah, I was playing a wizard in that game, and I was like, oh my God, we're in a giant skull.
Yeah,
and it was that moment of this is a giant skull. We're inside something's head, and the rest of the party had that mind blown inception.
It was a giant map that I had drawn of the cavern space that they were in, and as they got to the center of it, Taliesin began to look at the macro image of the entire kind of space that I'd drawn out for it, and he realized that it was a cranial cavity with like an eye socket and a nose portion and the upper part of a jaw.
What the hell, man?
It was so nuts.
hell,
It was
man.
essentially, they were all inside a giant.
God, that was them, not us.
Yeah, it was nowhere. It was sort of Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
nowhere basically.
Yeah,
It was nuts.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
just deep
Nowhere.
in
Giant
Oh,
Oh, it was such a good.
primordial
That was a good cavern.
Going back to one of the crit roll stats that we shared about the counter spells, Garmako on Reddit asked Matt, what was the trigger for the glyph that Scanlan, aka Taliesin in this episode, dispelled in this episode? What was its effect?
The effect for the trigger for it was a proximity of collected magic. Like if one person went individually, it probably wouldn't have an effect. But when 2 or more people began to go together as one cluster, that was like the strong presence of magical energy, and that was the trigger for the glyph on the ceiling. And it was essentially a dispel magic. It was a high-level one-burst dispel magic that would have just triggered, and in downward motion, anyone that was in that center area would have any immediate magical effects per person dispelled, or any items like a broom or a flying carpet would temporarily be inert.
Whoa.
And so
Laura would have melted. She would have just died.
temporarily, I mean, they would have come back.
After
what?
pulling
It
themselves off the
doesn't
spikes at the
permanently
bottom.
get rid of the effect.
What's the time frame?
Oh.
Or is there a trigger to...
Just like
For
a
this
little
effect, it would have been
pulse.
like the actual effect of the suppressing the magical items enchantment would probably be about a minute.
Oh, okay.
But it would have been enough to throw them down onto
Yeah.
a cluster of very
Yeah.
nasty spikes.
Right, because technically our carpet died last time because it dispelled and then fell in a pit of acid.
That was what got it last time.
Right.
It wasn't so much that it
But
wasn't
it wouldn't
permanently
have-
dispelled,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have
but
been permanently.
while the magic was inert, it fell into the acid and it ate away enough of it to destroy the enchantment.
Wow. We have a lot more to get to. We're going to give away some more free shit.
Let's do it. All right. Get away the stuff.
In addition to the gift of the week, you, the fans, send in incredible fan art for moments during Critical Role. We like to feature those in our fan art of the week. Yeah! This week's winner was sent in by Jace, aka Art Store Goth, and it features our favorite gunslinger. Let's take a look.
Yeah!
That's awesome.
That's so hot.
Why do you have pink eye?
I want that contact lens. Oh my God, I want that contact lens. That's magic.
That is
To be
rad.
fair, when you share the bath with enough people,
Yeah.
Especially if Grog's not
But
playing.
hey, you get a week off school.
there you go.
Thank you for submitting, Jace.
That's nuts.
For that, you will be receiving Jesus Christ. You will be receiving Jesus Christ. Hopefully, you have already. For that,
That was amazing. There's no way to duplicate that. It was so good.
We're sending you a
be-
Smith's album. It'll be great.
yeah, we're just sending this. For that, you'll be
Cthulhu.
receiving this player's handbook signed by the cast of Critical Role.
Yay! All right.
Our thanks to Wizards of the Coast for the player's handbook, and thanks to Jace for submitting. Remember, if you want to enter our weekly fan art contest, send your entries to toxmachina@gmail.com anytime before Tuesdays, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Make sure to attach your art and how you'd like to be credited should you win. Also, if you guys see, I know there's a ton of the fan art that ends up on Twitter, but we don't get it sent to us. If you want to enroll in the contest, you've got to send it to us. So if you guys see a bunch of awesome stuff out there, I know some people have been tweeting at them and saying submit this or whatever, but just if you see it and it's a friend of yours, remind them to submit it to us so they can possibly win some free shit.
Yeah, we have to do that so we get your permission.
Yeah.
So we
So
get
that
your
we
permission
can
too.
share your art on the TVs. So you have to do the act of submitting it.
Yes.
We can't just pull a random piece. So yeah, please tell people to submit it because there's so much good stuff out there.
So
Yeah.
much.
So much.
So much good stuff.
Submit.
Yes.
Submit.
Moving on, I did it again. Oops. Every once in a while, you guys, the players, stretch the limits of Matt's internationally renowned patience and kindness. And plead with him to let you get away with murder. Sometimes, Matt fights back. It's time for this week's Lord Have Mercer.
Is this a thing? This is a thing now? When did this become a thing?
This has always been a thing.
Nope, play the clip. I'm not going to talk. Play the clip.
I thought you were still grabbing onto the
I'm tethered to the broom.
to the broom.
To
the
broom?
Oh, you're tethered to the broom. Grabbing
Yeah,
onto
that's
the
what I
broom.
mean.
Yeah.
Don't whisper, because the broom won't be able to support me, you, and Pike.
I'm going for the broom.
You're roped to the broom. All right, never mind.
Come on,
All right.
man.
Look, I'm trying to work all the. I'm letting you guys do a lot of things
That's
really
insane.
fast.
I have 6 more moves I
I'm
want to make
trying.
right
I'm
now.
working with you, so please bear with me on this.
Yes.
Grasp me by. What?
I know.
What?
You're like a loan officer.
I wouldn't recommend doing that. I won't give you a chance to even do it.
No lickening.
Don't taunt the DM.
What?
Don't taunt the DM.
What?
And it's the winger.
What?
Don't taunt the DM.
What?
It was the whitest kids you know Lincoln that really sold it for me.
So let's get you now, Lincoln.
Which is a sketch, by the way, by the whitest kids you know.
Yes. If
To
you
clarify.
if you haven't seen Whitest Kids You Know, find them on YouTube. 'Cause it's amazing.
Yes.
Slow Jerk is the best. Adrian92 on Reddit. Matt, you're an amazing DM with a great story and amazing traps. Sometimes your players criticize these things up to the point that you have to tell them off. How do you keep your cool during such a situation?
It's all for fun. Like it's when you're good friends, you give each other shit. That's kind of that's par for the course in a friendship of any kind. And it's tug and pull. You want to make sure that you let them know, I appreciate that, but no, seriously, I worked hard on this.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are laughing now, but it took me an hour and a half to design this thing, so just give it a little respect. And usually that check-in is enough for them to be like, oh, you're right, I'm sorry. There's always that blur line between friendship and the narrative you're running, and that's part of what makes D&D so much fun, it's that kind of that parallel that you run. So it's just keeping that in mind. Even if the players are being a little playfully antagonistic, they're still your friends, you're still having a good time, and just a little nudge is just enough to remind them, like, oh, you're right, I'm sorry, and they can get back into the moment, like right there. So, yeah.
A little nudge.
I know.
One hit
You've
point.
Never taken
2 hit points.
You've never taken revenge against a player?
I haven't had to in a long time.
A long time.
Marisha,
I have
you know
before.
what your job is.
I have before.
Is it because they were being a dick?
There were a few reasons. There was we had a player and his wife who we were just starting. Actually, this is the last campaign, the very beginning.
no.
A fellow and his wife who came into play, and I feel bad for her because she was trying to get him to function, but he just got really, really drunk each session, and within the end of our second session, he was so belligerent and was like knocking stuff on the table and shouting stuff out during other players' turns to try and just be funny, like he was trying to be a comedian. And it got to the point where I just had the cavern collapse and kill their characters and told them they have to leave the campaign. I was like, well, that's it, guys. Sorry.
That was like seriously
You lost
the meanest
D&D.
thing I'd ever seen you
love
do,
it.
You
too.
lost D&D.
You lost D&D.
I love it. You smited.
It got to the point where, like, after repeated reminders, they just weren't being respectful of everyone else at the table. They weren't being respectful of the narrative that me and Zach were designing
Was this
for
the
it.
guy who just his go-to joke was that he pulled his dick out?
Yeah.
It was Ashley and I.
Yeah, basically.
I should have known.
It was Ashley and I.
You know, and at the first couple times, it's like, all right, but after you talk to the person and they don't adjust their behavior and they don't respect what you're doing, you're just like, okay, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And as opposed to just having them sunset, I had them crushed in a collapsing
Somewhere there's a D&D.
cavern.
Somewhere there's a D&D game for them. It was just not the one you were
totally.
running. It was just not the one you were running.
I've played at games and that would have worked great for some people, but you know, for the narrative that we were trying to build for that, it didn't work out so well.
Yeah, just look on Craigslist for D&D games for other assholes, and maybe you'll find a group of. Let's skip that. Let's talk about the future. I've seen the future, baby. Katie asks, how well prepared do you feel fighting Raishan this coming episode compared to the last time?
Better.
I mean, if you ask me, I feel no different.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean standing there like this for 4 hours doesn't prepare you? Or?
We have spells now, which is nice, and hit points, which is that's a
She
bonus.
didn't leave the cavern that she was hiding in. That was massive. I was terrified that we were going to get through a massive dungeon and then she will have bamfed.
You were going to get an answering machine, yeah.
That was, yeah.
I'm slightly concerned that since we left the lair where the meteor strike happened, that was like there were lair actions that happened, but now we're in her fucking necrotic dead people lair,
But
which
this
is going to
isn't
be way worse, I feel like.
Her lair. This was Thordak's hideout camp spot.
Yeah,
Are we
this
sure?
technically is not her lair.
Okay.
This.
I mean, I'll take it from you.
But
I
that
mean,
doesn't
I'm
mean she doesn't
I'm not
know
gonna
what
I'm not
she
going to give you
was
too
The
much.
question was for
This is true.
them.
This is true.
Yeah.
But from what you know, this location was not part of Raishan's previous existence. This was Thordak's background.
Do ancient dragons have to rest the same amount as we do to regain spells and stuff like that?
Probably.
Vex would know.
See, that voice is that's when you know
I know.
shit's fucked up, is
know.
when he goes,
It's all going
Sure.
sideways, man.
Let's just say.
My biggest.
The higher the pitch,
If it takes you
higher the
a night
pitch.
to rest to get your spells back, it's probably a good chance that it takes a night for a dragon to get their spells back.
So if she was up all night looking for a solution, maybe she won't have rested. I'm more concerned that she rested and now she has all of those damn legendary saves back.
Oh, I'm sure.
We'll peel through that. I mean, it's going to be a thing. I mean, we're going to have to try and play smart for once.
Yeah, I
For the
have
first
zero
time ever.
expectations.
For the first time
For the first time ever, we're not going to be like everyone in a line, and we're going to charge together in a line straight in.
Congo
and then,
line, move as one.
And then we're going to ball up, and then we're going to all stay touching together
Good
in like
deal.
a
You
little
know,
ball.
it worked for the British, right?
Chain lightning.
yeah,
For a while.
For a while, yeah.
Yep.
yeah. Taliesin.
Until they were thwarted by guns and trees, yes.
Right.
Guns and ships.
Speaking of
Hamilton reference.
coming from someone who's thwarted by a door every time they run into one.
And then
I don't
everything
think
north
you
of
can
them
see
that was
room to-
eventually thwarted by jackets. Yeah, this is true. I
Taliesin,
know anything, yeah.
Does Percy have any inventions on the back burner?
Yeah, a lot. There's a lot on the back burner. Things have been put on hold for a really, really long time.
You're also the go-to guy for whenever you want something nifty, because there are things that I need to talk to you about.
Yeah,
still.
yeah, and I'm happy to build things for people, and I'm definitely his attitude towards the things he was building has kind of shifted a bit, and he's hit the fuck it phase of all right, I'm gonna build stupid shit, fuck it.
Yeah.
So,
You're like the guy with the best Etsy shop.
yeah. No,
Back orders up through Christmas.
It's like
Yeah.
I'll get to it when I get to it,
Yeah.
man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got big plans depending on how things go.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to steal whatever fans make of that stuff and
They're
put it on
gonna-
the set.
There you go.
We've got the gun over there now. And
Oh, yeah.
all that stuff. Marisha, question about Keyleth's journey.
Oh.
Pimpstick on Reddit wants to know.
What up, Pipstick?
Marisha, if Raishan is defeated fairly soon and Keyleth's quest for vengeance is completed, does she plan to head to the Water Ashari quite soon? Alternatively, if there are any other cataclysmic threats, will she put off her Aramente for the sake of the party in Exandria? You
yeah,
get the deep ones.
That is, yeah.
I always think of like a Little Mermaid musical number every time we talk about the Water Ashari. I just hear
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope.
I know.
I played Kingdom Hearts 1 enough to never ever want to hear that song again.
The endless loop
Yep.
Yeah.
of Under the Sea.
Just let me
and that was
shoot
the
myself.
worst level.
Yeah, it was the worst.
Anyway.
Anyway,
But also the
levels.
music,
Anyway.
the way
Yeah.
they made the music sound though, it was like walking through a casino of Little Mermaid. slot
Kinda, yeah.
machines.
Oh my god.
That's what it sounded like.
So
wasn't it?
true, yeah.
Yeah.
Disney
yeah.
Vegas.
so back to your question.
Sorry, back to you, Marisha.
Yes, she absolutely has plans to go continue the go to the Water Ashari probably pretty soon. I think that'll be one of the first things on our list after Raishan. And she still has every intention of completing her Aramente at this point because she's had no reason not to, really. But part of the Aramente is about being a hero and still being a member and a doing public service for Exandria. So that kind of is also wrapped
Tied in.
into
Yeah.
it. Yeah, because they basically told her, go off and be a hero, and then push her out the door. And now she's kind of realizing that what the fuck does being a hero even mean? That's such a weird perspective type of definition. So she's still figuring it out.
But we get to see her figure it out, which is
Yeah.
cool.
So for her, she's like, especially Keyleth, she's got like insanely high standards. So she's just terrified that she's going to go back and they're going to go, nah, not enough.
I'm going to send you back in a sandwich outfit. I'm a hero. What do you want? There,
Yeah.
Done. Done.
Little
Man.
salamis.
Oh, man.
You know exactly where we're
Art's
going
coming
from that,
from
too.
that.
Art's coming for sure.
Art's coming. Yeah, that was
Sorry.
low fruit.
Sorry. Deeply.
Low fruit, but I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
I can
Low
see you
fruit, but
spinning
it
a
tastes
sign,
good.
too. She's in the sandwich
Yeah, I was
costume,
just saying,
spinning a sign.
yeah,
Like-
doing
like
the sign spinner
Water
thing.
Ashari.
Yeah. Come get cheap car insurance. Yeah.
I'm being told
Water
by
slides
a,
galore.
Yeah.
Water Ashari.
You're being sold.
I'm being told by a cat petting executive that we need to. Travis, Michael Dibden asks.
Yes, Michael, your question.
Yeah.
Travis, has Grog always been a man of fair trade based on what happened in episode 82, or is this a more recent pattern of behavior?
No fair trade, right? A, he doesn't understand what that means. B, he wouldn't do it if he did. I think he just genuinely wanted to be upfront with Vex. I think he knows that she's cleverer than he is, so he was offering like a genuine trade because he wasn't using the parapet. He hasn't come near unconsciousness in like a long time. So I think he was trying to do his version of a fair trade because he didn't want to try and haggle the haggler. Just
You
got
should
denied.
say after a sentence like that, not to brag. Just to make everyone else comfortable who has gone unconscious.
No, he doesn't care about them.
That's exactly what I wanted.
I'm going unconscious right now. I'm just
Really? I know, man.
killing it. You're killing it.
I mixed up the cold medicine with the Xanax again. I don't know how I feel.
Again, Brian, we
I don't know
talked
what I
about
feel.
this.
So many colors.
Matt, Arthur Ornelas wants to know on Facebook. You remember Facebook?
Yeah.
Should a battle take place next week, this will be the first time we see Allura in combat.
Correct.
How excited are you to let her stretch her legs? Is it the same feeling you had when letting Gilmore or any cool NPC off the leash?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what she can do and show people what she can do. She's, it's been a while since she's been a frontline fighter by any means, but she still has some tricks up her sleeve. She's a fairly powerful practitioner of the magical arts, and she's, at the side of her, her classic ally, her partner since the old adventuring days, Kima. So that team dynamic actually has some cool elements too. So I'm excited to see that happen. Let's hope it's enough.
2 rounds.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
give me
hate
2
that.
rounds.
I hate that. Why do you have to add that to the end of the sentence?
rounds.
It was so positive and beautiful, and then you got to
Yeah.
freak these guys
We got
out.
a
They got
full
48
film.
hours.
No, I
before
got
they
2
have to
days
do
to
it.
build this tension, you motherfuckers. Let me
You don't have
enjoy
to
it.
do anything. Jeez.
2 rounds,
It's a hot
and then the
Cheeto.
I don't want to
carpet
build you up. I
Just
want
saying.
you to really feel what you're in for. I want you to know the gravity and the weight of what you've walked into, man.
Reverse
Yeah, they have no
gravity.
idea.
What we walked
We
into.
were so jubilant before this.
Yeah, you guys, everything was fine.
We're so carefree. I was going to do some chalk drawings on the inside of the cave. We're just going to talk, right?
Grog was
Hi,
here.
my son. And
Well, you only get as far as
Finally
the
used
GNR.
for that
That's all I
beret.
learned.
right?
Yeah.
G.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did it.
Dick bite
Yeah,
at the end of it.
he's made his
Art is
mark.
never done. I just leave it here.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone please make a fan Twitter account of drawings that Grog would make on a
my
cave
God.
with chalk, and I'll follow you and tell everyone about you
In the snow with other
in
mediums.
the snow. Excuse me, guys, you're not going to believe this.
I don't think it's
What?
supposed to be red.
We're almost out of time.
What?
It goes by too fast, as does all the time with you. Matt, let's
Yes.
talk about. Everybody is welcome to talk about this since you guys asked my permission before the show. But no, I'm kidding. You weren't here last week when we talked to Sam about the drugs.
Correct.
So this got brought up last week when he was on. I want you to give a chance to talk. I want to give you a chance to talk about Scanlan's drug experimentations. Did you expect it? What did you think when he went there?
I mean, I have very little expectation with character arcs because it's driven by the players that run them, and every experience that I provide, they can take in a multitude of different ways. So for me, part of the fascination of running a game is seeing where you guys run after you have these experiences that I kind of pseudo provide. The whole suit obsession, the drug obsession with Scanlan, I was not expecting. I'm really curious to see where it goes. I've seen hints and pieces. We've had very little talk about it because I think he wants to surprise me as much as I surprise him, which works great for me. I guess my own tension. But he doesn't fully understand what he's in for necessarily. I think I've talked a little bit about what Suit is capable of now that he's kind of recalled some of the information about it and he's used it a couple times.
We saw that this week. He got a sorcerer.
Got a sorcerer point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lasts for an hour, and you get a temporary usage of one of the metamagic feats based on the type of Suit. There's 3 different types of Suit that can be distilled from the residuum. That each give you a different metamagic ability. But every time you take it, it has like a saving throw where you fall unconscious for a minute. So like combat use is dangerous.
Ooh, yeah.
And multiple use within an hour can give you multiple sorcery points, but it gets real dangerous real fast.
Yeah. Yeah. We got an interesting response last week after talking about it. People are very fascinated with Sam and Scanlan's journey in this way.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are really interested because we know Sam in real life so well, and his normal personality is so opposite of this.
Yeah.
And I know we made some jokes about it last week, and then I shared a few personal thoughts because, as you guys know, I have a pretty extensive history with all that stuff. I've been sober about 10 years. As far as the community goes, the response has been varied. It's really interesting to see because some people are like, it's hilarious. Others find it to be quite brilliant, which a lot of the stuff Sam does, I hate to admit it, is.
He's a brilliant man, and I'm fascinated.
Others seem horrified, and I think just to make it clear, there's no shame coming from us, right? To me, it's an interesting, I like where he's going with it because he's saying, I want to put myself in someone else's shoes that I haven't been in, right? And I think, for me, what I found to be true is that I think shame can be like a siphon that drains from us the will to do good.
Yeah.
And if we can remove that and let people sort of make decisions and see what happens, especially if we're there as a support system, then I think it's going to be an interesting ride. You seem like you.
I'm on the same page. I'm just fascinated by it because he's such an interesting human to decide to do this. Of all the humans on planet Earth who could decide to go down this path, I'm like, I have no idea where this is going.
Or the characters, right?
Yeah.
Or out of all of you guys, if you would have told me who would be the first to I wouldn't have put Sam on the list.
Well, it's also interesting too because when it comes to many people, myself included, have been peripheral to whether it be family or close friends who've undergone their own struggles or reasons to delve down a very dark path with drug use and such. And there are different reasons as to why certain people are drawn to that type of a spiral. And his character arc and the experiences he's had and these decisions recently, I can see elements of the thread he's going with it, but even I'm still like, I don't know where he's gonna swing out of it, or if he's gonna go all the way down the dark hole, or if he's gonna come out of it with an epiphany for his own outlook on life. Because Scanlan's had just such a very interesting, very Shakespearean full kind of look at the world. Like, we're all fucked, so let's just let's live it while we can.
Yeah.
So no, I'm really, really excited to see where this goes.
It's a really good.
This world is broken. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a really good character choice too, I think, because it shows you that, for instance, he had a near-death experience.
Yeah.
Right. You find people in real life who have near-death experiences usually end up on one side of the extreme afterwards, at least
Yeah.
for a little while, going like, oh my God, I don't want to die. I'm going to get healthy and take care of my body and stop doing all this shit I shouldn't. Or you have people who end up going like, oh, that was terrifying. I'm going to cope with the trauma from that event this way, right? Like that's kind of how I got into stuff, was a bad breakup. It wasn't a near-death experience by any mean, except for my ego, which which can also lead to a lot of revelations, right?
Yeah.
But then you end up going like, oh wow, I overcompensated after that thing. So
Yeah.
people end up on either side of the spectrum. I thought it was interesting that he went that way with it.
I'm going to have film nerd moment with you. Do you
Please.
remember a Jeff Bridges film called Fearless?
I do, yeah.
God, that was like
Yeah.
that's my favorite post-traumatic stress film ever made.
Yeah.
Because he's just walking around in that complete daze of, I can do anything. I'm invulnerable. I'm going to make everybody better. It's just like, you are a tire fire. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tire fire.
I love tire fire. It's a great, yeah.
Okay. Question about this. Dougie Star on Reddit from Matt. Given that you live in a state that just legalized recreational marijuana.
No.
What?
I didn't know that. I'm excited.
You didn't
I've got a
know
place to
that?
go. No, I'm going to go out now, right?
Yeah, go out right
It's
now.
not until 2018 that it goes into
Was
effect.
it your intention that Scanlan Suede use would be viewed with such apprehension, shock, and horror by many of the players and the critters, given that it is used by the druids and seems to have obvious and interesting benefits? Should we ultimately be worried about him? P.S. Don't do drugs and stay in school, kids.
Actually,
It is not
it is
used by the
not used by the
druids.
druids. The Allure root is used by the druids. And that is kind of a tribal ceremonial psychedelic used for wisdom, insights, and possibly projected visions. Sood was refined during the Age of Arcanum, which is the age before the Cataclysm or the Divergence, and it was refined from Residuum as a way to enhance very, very long ritual casting. But then the secrets of it kind of spread out into more less reputable magic practitioners, and it began to be refined and kind of spread through the streets for people that had any sort of interest in magic casting, and then it became a huge problem. And so Sood does not have the mystical background that Allure root does. It's a little.
It's a club drug.
It's a club. It's
Nice.
It's a club. It's more of like a Lancaster drug.
It's hard to.
It's a Fresno drug. It's this is like the Walter White of D&D would be making Sood out of his
Right.
Magic Winnebago.
So
am
would
the
you?
man who
okay,
casts.
I guess that was going to be my question, because if Allure root, the closest real world comparison would probably be
Like an ayahuasca too.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah.
or like peyote. So would Sood be closer to like meth or cocaine? Like what would?
I
Sood be
guess. I mean,
closer
it's hard to compare because it's
It's magical. It's like that. It's like in Rat Queens when they take a hit off of the arcane vapors.
maybe.
Remember in Rat Queens?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I don't have a point of experience with one of these substances that I'm using comparisons
Well, I
on.
brought some. They usually keep them under the.
Yeah, there you go.
But
Thank you, Thordak.
No one ever
But-
suspected.
But I guess it's as far as like it being a very like a chemical refinement,
Yeah.
and not a natural occurring substance,
Yeah.
then Sood does fall more in that category.
Okay.
It's more a more refined chemical, unhealthy, dangerous substance in comparison to like Allure root, which is a little more natural, processed through just brewing and preparation that way.
Tight.
Word.
Amazing.
I want to put out just from that question that I don't think the players had any real issue with this. Like I like the characters did, but like we are fascinated by this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
enjoying every moment of this
Absolutely.
insanity.
Yeah.
Couldn't be a better person at doing this experiment in my mind.
Oh yeah, totally.
No.
We have to go to the last question of the night because we're over. Who cares? Brian's hairline on Reddit. I hope that's not referring to me.
I hope it is.
The only thing that's going to disappear faster than my career. For everyone, even Brian, Critical Role and your positivity saved my life. No exaggeration.
Aw.
What is something that have helped you guys through your toughest times? To end the night, I thought that would be a great,
Whoa.
That's
great
fantastic.
question.
Wow.
Shit.
What's something, doesn't have to be like the biggest thing, but what's something that's helped you guys
I think
through?
sharing time is always important to me. Like in my toughest times, it wasn't necessarily somebody coming in and going like, "Are you okay?" or asking questions. It was just like being there with me. So I think that sharing time, like meaningful time with people, is undervalued, but to me has been the most important thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you guys?
Therapy and medication. Sorry. Yeah, no, not kidding. But yeah. Not kidding.
But, yeah.
No, really. But yeah.
not really, but yeah.
Yeah, not kidding.
Both really helpful. No, seriously, like both.
No, twice.
Incredibly
No,
helpful.
I'll lay that down.
Yeah. No one should feel ashamed of therapy.
Of course not.
Therapy is great.
No,
Don't misview our laugh. It was
Friends
just
are great.
said really
Adventure
well.
is
Yeah.
awesome. Fresh air is amazing.
I would say
Therapy and
feel
medication, lifesaver.
Right. I would say feel ashamed if you're too prideful to go to therapy.
Yeah. No,
It's not
I think we all had
taboo.
our paths there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's hard. There's same kind of thing. Like friends are always massively important when getting through a tough time. D&D helped get me through a tough. Like when this game started, you know, I was kind of going through a life transitional period and helped me. You know, it can kind of help you work out issues or explore thoughts or feelings that you can't do in real life without massive consequences.
Yeah.
We can play in this world without any real consequences, and I think that's something that's huge. But I mean, I wouldn't be so connected to geekdom and all the nerdy shit that I love if they didn't get me through or kind of inform me about who I was in some way.
That's an interesting point. Informing who you are. There's something about games like Dungeons and Dragons, even video games and stories you read as kids. Like, I've talked a bit about how modern media like this is our modern storytelling is our myths of the ancient tribal days of human civilization. You know, the stories that the elders around the campfire would tell the younger kids to, aspire to be like these heroes, like the Gilgameshes, the Hercules.
Fosters.
Yeah, the Fosters.
The Fockers.
You know, these. My parents are the Fockers. We don't want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
But it's true. But these forms of modern media, these stories are our version of that. You know, all the video game characters all the Final Fantasy characters I grew up playing, all the D&D characters that I played growing up, these were the type of individuals that I aspired to be, or discovered facets of myself that wanted to make me a better person through it. So gaming has been a huge therapeutic thing for me growing up, and the community around it.
Yeah.
I think community is another big thing. Community, finding solace in other people that have had shared dark experiences, and like you said, we call it that's rough, buddy. You know, from Avatar, where it's like you don't need to be fixed. You don't need somebody to try and fix your issue or make you feel better necessarily, but just to share in that moment and be like, yeah, that sucks,
just
man.
someone that says that sucks.
The acknowledgement. That's awful.
That sucks. Also, Avatar: The Last Airbender
Also
definitely
was a great
probably
fight.
saved my life.
Yeah.
Legit.
God, no, that's probably true.
Yeah, I was in like a really bad place and then discovered Avatar: The Last Airbender and binge watched it and then binge watched it again and then binge watched it 2 more times.
And then we started dating, and then you made me watch it
And
again.
then I made
so that
him
was a
watch
fifth time.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've watched through that whole series like 7 or 8 times at least.
I think just to wrap up, I'll answer. For me, I think it goes along with, it's kind of a running theme, right? Like community, reach out. I think that if you fight isolation, that's half the battle.
Yeah.
Because if you isolate yourself, sometimes it can be healthy to take time away, but if you're really going through it, find other people that want to leave the world better than they found it. That's what I tell people. You know, look across your scope of friends and say, like, who's really trying to, like, you know, leave the world better than they found it. And then despite all of you guys and my other friends, I haven't figured out how to find those people yet and spend my life with them, but I hopefully will soon. And
Yeah, no, that's what MySpace is for.
Keep looking.
Yeah.
Keep looking.
You'll
I
find
keep
your
waiting
eight.
for those friend requests to start coming in.
You'll find your eight.
Tom's a shining beacon. Just go ahead and friend him. He'll be fine.
Tom's in jail for
Maybe you should
insurance
put me in
fraud.
your top 10, top 25 friends.
Sadly, Tom, never mind.
unfriended.
He tried to get into a nightclub with a flute full of drugs. That's all the time we have for tonight, folks. Don't forget to watch Critical Role at 7 p.m. Thursday nights on Twitch and Alpha. Send in your questions via Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. If you're on Twitter, use the hashtag #GodFuckingDammit every week.
Hashtag #GodFuckingDammit.
You're on Twitter, use the hashtag #GodFuckingDammit to send in your questions. Also, don't forget to send in your gifts and fan art for our weekly contest. If you are on Alpha, you know they get 60 days now. Yeah. Stick around. We'll be back in just a minute to take some questions from the Alpha chat in our Talks Machina After Dark segment. If not, we'll be back next week with an all-new episode. I would like to thank my guests Mike Mercer, Taliesin Hefe, Marcia Roy, and Tarvis Wellingrod. We'll see you next week, but until then, don't forget to love each other, and don't worry, it's almost Thursday. Good night, everyone. So I said, I don't have a sister, and they go, this is her. And I said, I've never seen that woman before in my life. Welcome back.
How many? Oh.
We're on the internet.
Oh, well, that's...
Welcome back to the same show. I'm sitting here with the same guests. Tonight, our questions come from the Alpha chat room. First up, question for the Critical Role team.
Yes.
You guys are a team now. Once all the Chroma Conclave have been killed, this is from Ozzy Stern. Once all the Chroma Conclave have been killed, will there be a photo on the website of all the busts with the team underneath them? I would like that as a screensaver.
There will be a photo of the bus with the team over them, I think will be. We will be mounting them, perhaps. I don't
Probably,
know.
yeah. We're
Yeah, the reins in their
They're
mouths.
pretty magnificent. You were showing us the
Yeah.
Thordak one last night. It's
the Thordak one looks
Thordak's
amazing.
pretty glorious.
All of them look great, but that one's just so massive,
He's
and
a
the
beefy
actual
bastard.
glows from the mouth. It's so cool. So
yeah.
yeah, we'll do that definitely.
4 of them have come in already?
Yeah, with
Yeah.
each fallen
With each
member.
So
yeah.
they send them after each
amazing.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is quick.
And Thordak
They're doing
is
incredible work.
big.
Yeah.
Thordak's so big.
Paint job on that
He's
one.
got a
especially.
remote control.
So good.
Yep.
Oh, here you go, guys. Sarah, sorry, you person.
Sorry, Sarah.
Sorry, Sarah.
Sarah Seraphin.
Sarah?
Sarah.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Question. This print is quite small and I am very old. Any tips on learning new accents? I want to try new things with new characters, but Valley Girl and an awful version of Cockney are about all I've got at my disposal.
Well, you can get a lot. You can get a lot of out of just those options
Lot of
there by
mileage.
mixing them.
Yeah.
There's layers.
Yeah, there's from a professional standpoint, there's the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet, which
is great.
A really good standard way to basically learn any dialect once you learn that basic structure.
Oh, you can't recognize
And there's-
the
hold on.
IPA
Well, hold on.
We're
to
going
standard people. Like,
No, we're going somewhere.
That's like learning a whole new language, by
Right.
the way. It's fascinating, but it's like learning a new
The
language.
algebra.
alternative, if you're more of an ear learner like I am, there's a website called the International Dialects of English Archive.
Yeah.
And it is a collection of audio files of people all across the world, and it's organized
thing
by
about rainbows is
Yep.
yeah. There's,
it's organized by country or by continent, country, region, sometimes even city, and you select these areas, and they have examples of people who grew up in these areas or lived for a while in these areas, and you can just listen to how these different dialects and accents sound and learn from them through copy and repeat.
And the thing that they do on these audio clips that's really, really cool is they do an interview with the person talking about their life and where they lived and where they came from. They have men, women, different ages. And then they have all of them read this paragraph about rainbows. And the reason that they read the rainbow paragraph is it has every phonetic combination possible in the English language in this paragraph about rainbows, so you get to hear every vowel
How
consonant.
to find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Or karma gets a cure.
Karma gets a cure.
Yeah, every audiophile begins with the same
Karma
dry
gets a
British
cure.
man reading like, karma gets a cure. Copyright Douglas Henanoff and Barbara
Property
Somerville.
of the international dialects.
Yeah, you'll get used to it. But yeah,
I always like watching Train Spotting. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Just watch it twice in a row, and then, like the Scottish thing starts to happen. You just go to just find a movie with that accent.
And there's also
dive in.
accents for actors, which is a nice little table book. There's also some real. I'm trying to remember some of the good. I have an app. If you want just a clean British accent, they have it's called an RP accent because no one is born with it. You learn it in school, and they have an app that even British people download to refine their accent.
Ooh.
It takes you through if you want to get very posh. It teaches you how
That's
to
what
be
they
posh.
teach the news broadcasters over there.
BBC Worldwide. This is Chris Christopherson. I don't
He
know. I've
fell
got
on hard
nothing.
times. He's reporting for the BBC.
Steady work if you can get it.
Travis,
Liverpool.
each member of Vox Machina has gone through some highs and some lows. What event, including pre-stream, do you think has had the most impact on Grog and his relationships with the rest of the gang? This is from Adonis.
Swatting that fucking bear.
Adonis.
Jesus, what event has had the most impact on him and his relationships?
Dem titties.
Hard to be them titties. I think I think probably pulling Craven Edge away from him against his will, even after dying, right? Because it was not a concern for them, really. I'm sure they were like, "You're gonna use that shit against us," but I mean, they were like, "This is gonna kill you if we don't take it away," and I was like, I want to use it for Chemdeck. Just let me keep it for one more day, two more days. And they still wouldn't do it. So I think from a character perspective, as I was playing, I was like, that really means that they give a shit about me. And I think, when he was with his herd, nobody really cared if you got hurt or busted up or died. It was just like something that happened. Like, where's Greg? He's over there. All right, we're still going. Here we go.
Yeah.
Forget him,
Yeah.
So I think probably Craven Edge was pretty big.
I still imagine you at night in like a little dressing gown like Fievel Mouskowitz at your window singing to Craven.
Where out there. And then I hear somewhere across the plains.
Yeah.
someone saying a prayer. Someone feeds me more souls.
Oh my God. I love it.
There's tonight.
This is literally all we do all day.
Someone please
We need
draw
Vox Machina the
Grog.
musical.
With the little Fievel Mouskowitz hat.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, that nerd girl. Brian, what's your favorite NPC, Gilmore, dude? If whoever shows up, hey guys, I love that shit. Plus, I think if he were a real person, I might try to kiss him.
Yeah.
You might.
I don't know. He dresses really nice.
He dresses very nice. He smells really nice too.
Question for yes, he does. Question for Matt and Travis. Phoenix Heart 815 wants to know
Phoenix Horde?
if Percy didn't give the jug he had to Allura when she asked from Grog, what would she have traded or done to Grog?
Oh, because I was asking for things to trade.
Yeah.
You were in a mood.
I don't know. She probably would have just froze the water. She would have found a way to get it done.
Yeah.
She was trying not to burn a spell. She would have been just frustrated and been like, oh, you're taking too long. Pfft. Look, we're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people are like, oh, well, that's Matt pushing him along. I'm like, maybe on a small scale, but that was more Laura pushing you along. That was more like, all right, I haven't done this in a while, and all of you are taking your sweet time with this. I'm just gonna take care of this.
I think there's also
Yeah, I
something to
was
be
on the
said for
edge.
like a firm hand with Grog. I think he responds to women that give like a firm hand. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? He'll mess around with guys, just like try and rip them off or lie to them to the ends of the earth. But you get like one mom look. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Strength responds to strength, right?
Yeah.
Enhance Me says, that's what I say every time I walk in the doctor's office. Enhance Me says, for Marisha, you once said that you thought about giving Keyleth a point in Barbarian.
Yeah.
What do you think could push Keyleth over the edge to reconsider actually taking the Barbarian feat?
I didn't know this.
I didn't tell you this?
No.
Yeah.
You know when she was having all those conversations with Grog about like how to manage her anger and how to deal with stuff?
Yeah.
There was a time where if
I regret my talk. You just come on over. Smash all the shit.
There was a time where I was kind of waiting to see what played out, like if something went terribly wrong, because one of the big things that is angering Keyleth is that she was never really told how bad and how horrible the world can be, and so she went off thinking that it was going to be this magical wonderland, and it's not, and there's a lot of pain and suffering in it. Then, I mean, like hearing from Grog, like my friends, like your little anime speech that you had, that, because she still has her humanity first, so she kind of started pulling out of that anger, so it didn't go that way. It just didn't go that way. I think it could still. I think because she still has a ton to learn about the world, but it just kind of depends on how much the world shits on her. But right now, I think she's got a strong enough support group that she's trying to pull back out of her anger.
Yeah.
So
Everything's a lie.
it would take a lot. Yeah.
Everything's a lie.
It would take a lot. I mean, I've thought about even like if she happens to run into her mom again, and like if her mom, like I've thought about that a lot, and like I think if Keyleth found her mom alive and well, she'd be like, "Oh my God, you're alive! What the fuck?"
Yeah.
You know, and I think that would honestly, she'd be angry about that. I don't know. It's tough.
Mom, turn
So
yourself
many
on.
parental issues in this group. Have you ever noticed that?
Hey man, that's D&D.
That's D&D.
Mommy and daddy issues.
If everyone,
So many.
it's the most dangerous thing to be in a D&D campaign as a parent.
That's so true.
You're either dead or you've broken enough people that you've given
Caused
birth
world
to.
suffering.
Like you just having a kid is the scariest thing in a D&D game.
That's a challenge. Our next characters will all have perfect relationships with their parents.
Boy, too late on mine already. Like, wow.
No, mom and dad was great.
My new one's just as fuck.
Paid for
God
Wizard
damn it.
College.
Yeah, let me
Dallas,
explore
you know?
my interests.
Yeah.
Question for you from Gamer K.
Hey, Gamer K.
If Percy ran into a goblin engineer who claimed that his grandfather invented black powder, would he be more bemused, aghast, or curious?
That claims that he invented black powder?
That his grandfather invented. If you ran into a goblin engineer who claimed that his grandfather invented black powder,
He would definitely be very irritated, and I think he would want to try and confirm that information. It would probably
Prove it.
and would probably end up shooting him. Yeah, and I think it would not end well.
Probably.
Yeah, he does not like the notion that anyone else would go in this direction, and for many reasons. But oh yeah, that would not end well. Oh yeah, he's way too snobbish and frightened, and oh yeah, no.
Yeah, you're like the Pandora's box of people.
I've got no. He's like so many issues, like
Yeah.
just so many issues,
Yeah.
and really not healthy.
It's a running theme tonight. Matt, going back to the chasm
Yes.
and the bridge,
Yes.
the book that Travis didn't read in high school. If any of the characters had ended up in the undead reverse gravity pit of despair, I see what you did there. Nobody tries to escape. What does he say? Welcome to the pit of despair.
Welcome
to the
pit of despair. Don't even.
Don't even think about trying to escape. Say the characters that ended up in the undead reverse gravity pit of despair, would there have been a way to get them back?
I mean, that would have been up to them. You would have had to retrieve them, but for each round that they stayed down there, the DC of trying to pull them out of the restraint would have gone higher. So the longer they waited, the more damage they would have taken, and the harder it would have been to pull them out.
That'd have been tough.
It depends on who got caught. I imagine
tough.
would have been
Yeah.
the trouble because like, yeah, they're.
If Pike had been caught, it would have been, she's stronger than a lot of the members of the party. If Vex had been caught with a very low strength, she would have had a hard time pulling out, which means she would have had to have one of you guys go down to probably aid her, and that would have put you in danger, possibly pulled in as well if the rolls didn't work in your favor. So, I mean, it was one of those things I was going to take it as it happened, but it would, the longer that they were in there, the more damage they were taking, and the harder it would have been to pull them out.
Yeah.
Pike kind of sort of would have been fine actually. Now I'm thinking about it because she's got that 0.1
See,
blast.
I'll say she had one more use because she used Channel Divinity once in that, if I recall.
Well, she's got the 0 point reboot because of the armor.
The vestige.
The vestige.
Oh,
gives
the
you that
fire
pop,
one.
because it gives you the fire pop.
Yeah, but she also has
We would have had to be
Destroy
ready.
Undead as a Channel Divinity,
But that
which would
would've
have
been
cleared
the
out a nice sizable chunk of that group down there, which would have probably given her a little bit of respite.
Yeah.
Oh, clerics. Clerics are awesome.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Raishan heard, this is from Misty Quest, do you think Raishan heard all the commotion you made on your approach? She
Yes.
seems unsuspecting.
I
don't see how she couldn't. I mean, we were just making everything activate.
Yeah.
We hit every little
There was an
snare.
explosion.
I'm sure she also has her own like dragon senses that were probably tingling. At this point,
It would be foolish to assume we had any form of surprise.
She's got
Yeah.
some Nest cameras
She
up in
knows
the
we're
house.
coming. Oh, for
CCTV.
sure.
Oh yeah.
for sure.
You guys
Come on
know,
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, by the way, great Tom Waits reference this week.
Oh yeah. Thank
I,
you. I'm a
Thursday
big
night-
fan of
Yeah.
any Tom Waits that we can.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. Yeah,
No,
Thursday night when you made the reference, I was like, yes, Tom Waits reference. And then some people in the chat, the Twitch chat, Fool Bunny and a few others, we ended up spending the rest of the we must have been driving everyone in the Twitch chat.
Karaoke. It's pretty
crazy.
intense.
Which one?
The Step Right Up.
Oh, Step Right
Living
Up.
it,
yeah.
living it, loving it, slapping it. Yeah, I do the whole.
I did
yeah.
get behind the mule before. Anyway,
Thank you. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite Tom Waits quotes too. That's just
yeah,
such a great
I
one.
like. I'd rather have a ball in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
Is that actually his or is
It
that
is
older?
his. It's from Fernwood Tonight. We're gonna get a
Okay.
little nerdy on the Tom Waits.
Come with us. We're going on a journey.
Question for Brian. Nope. I'm not important. Where did it go? Oh, you guys know I have two favorite people in this world. Arsqueef
Oh yeah.
and
go.
Gummy Bear Wookie.
Yes.
Gummy Bear Wookie asks, who's going to bite the bullet and take a level of architect so that you can all finally learn how to get through doors?
Oh jeez.
I was actually thinking it'd be fun. We need a please stand by image, and I would love like a little cartoon, all of us stuck at a door trying to like reach like the S-Bob machine.
That's pretty great.
Stuck like pushing on a pull door, just like all of.
Is there a level of architect?
Yeah. No. Well.
Is that a real thing?
It's a new
I wouldn't know.
class
It's a
that
new
they
thing.
just released
Oh.
called the Artificer.
Artificer.
No.
No.
No, they're making a joke as an architect.
Oh, it is
Oh,
just a
damn.
thing.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
I
a
thought
joke.
they were
It's
talking
not-
about
I thought that was
Artificer.
actually a
No,
real thing.
the artificer is a specialist in magical items and artifacts.
Not a gunslinger.
Oh.
Nola Critter Trash says, for Matt, have you ever dreamed up the door that will ultimately defeat Vox Machina? He's sitting at home going, I had this huge ending planned out, and now I have to change it all
Have
to
you
a
ever
goddamn
seen
door.
Time Bandits? Basically, Time Bandits. We're
Bandits.
just
Kinda,
gonna
yeah.
end at Time Bandits with a toaster oven that we
Yeah,
open and we die.
Fox Machina, don't touch it, it's evil.
evil.
Huh? Yep, basically.
Marisha,
Yeah.
Wolfgar83.
Okay.
If you guys get a real shot to kill Raishan this week, will you try to steal the kill from someone else so you get that dragon plushie from the Christmas Periscope? You should.
I don't know how I would steal.
You
the-
answer that question honestly, Marisha.
Yes.
Just do it for
How
the
would I
question.
mean? It's not like it's an RPG where like MMO where we have to tag it first. Like it doesn't.
No.
I don't
Well-
control that.
Well, the final blow, no, but the instructions per those specific small plushies that were given was they would be given to each person that
Each
got the
person that
final
got
hit
the-
on
the
that
kill.
specific
Right.
dragon.
Augment your battle
But I
plan.
can't. But there's.
This person is trying to subtly tell
just
you
say
to
no.
steal the kill shot.
You just say no.
get
I can just
plushie.
steal the dragon. That would be way easier than stealing the
That's
kill
true,
shot.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in my living room right now. I could just
She can-
never surrender it.
Yeah.
I could just hide it and you guys would never know.
She can beat up most of us. So,
Yeah, right.
Like, she can get it
That's
without
fair.
a problem. It's
It
not
doesn't
an
matter
issue.
who gets it, she'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lock your window.
Stealing a plushy dragon way harder than stealing the life of a fake one.
Educated, talk about
You have actually technically like more combat training than easily 70% of this group. Now that I think about it, that's kind of that's terrifying. Okay, I'm not thinking about that anymore.
coffee.
Travis, Doe
I'm
Regard,
good.
Doe Regard says, question for Travis.
Oh, no.
Is Tarvis Wellingrod your porn name? Asking for a friend.
No, my porn name is Vagina Thrill Swim, which is all of the letters of my name mixed around to make two fully functioning names.
What?
Yeah, Vagina Thrill Swim is all the letters of my name.
Why in the world?
I loved you in
I'm not going to say
Plaid.
what your actual PSN screen name is,
Right.
but why in the world is it not that?
That's a really good. What a missed opportunity.
No! Where
I
did
know.
you get
Years of
to? You used Tarvis Wellingrod for a one shot, right?
Tarvis.
Tarvis.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that nickname from?
I don't remember.
What a dick.
I really don't. So
I literally just watched
Is
the
it you?
flashback
Is it
happen, and
you?
he's
Yes.
too embarrassed to like have
It
talk
is
about.
you.
Yes,
Yeah.
we went to a con like 8 years ago or something, and Travis and Laura were also there. I was with our friend Troy, and we got to the thing, and I was like, yeah, can you see if a friend of ours has checked in already? And it was like, the name is Travis Willingham, and she's like, oh yeah, we don't have anybody here by that name. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, what about Tarvis Wellingrod? She wouldn't tell me
it
because
was
they're not
her.
allowed to tell which guests are there. I was like, we're friends with them, blah, blah. So I left a note at the front for Tarvis Wellingrod, and then ever since then, it's kind of been this done.
I forgot. Yeah, I knew it had your stank on it.
Vagina
Thrill swim.
Thrill
swim.
That is.
I'm so mad I already picked my D&D character for this week, my name.
Beat it.
That's a Barbarella character.
Beat
Is
it.
what
It
that is.
Totally.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Vagina Thrill Swim. Welcome to my planet. Like that's a storyline
I know.
in
No.
that world.
She has the Lochnar.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. Prong Saeed and says, also a question for Travis. If Grog stumbles upon a headband of intellect, will he turn evil?
Yeah.
Turn?
Yes, probably. If he all of a sudden knows everything he's never known, or realizes all the things that he has been like denied or lied to or have had taken from him, results probably wouldn't be.
The minute he understands the concept of evil, we're all just kind of fucked.
Yeah, that's that too.
Yeah,
Ignorance is bliss.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So is Froyo.
Froyo is.
Oh, let's get Pinkberry. We have to ask our final question of the night because some mouth breather is waving at me from off screen. Blaze1940 says, can you ask Taliesin to sing Pure Imagination?
Yeah. Do it.
If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it, want to change the world. There's nothing to it.
I mean,
Feeling.
just
We actually have a signal boost thing, and now that joke is ruined because we were going to do that thing on. Well, we'll save it.
This is on Alpha. Nobody saw
Oh,
it.
that's.
Thanks again for
We may do
watching
maybe a signal boost thing at some point.
Talks Mike and After Dark on Alpha,
We can still do
and
it.
for sending in your questions. Thank you, Courtney, for modding the Alpha chat and getting us all these great questions. We love you. Thank you guys for being so nice to her. We will see you next week and this Thursday, 7 p.m. for Critical Role. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye!